Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse. I don't know the bomb drop because she wrote in the date that she submitted this as the date of bomb drop. And from the story, that's clearly not it. She has a date of marriage of 2011. Her MLCR is, I believe he's still at home, it sounds like, and is a clinging boomerang. She is not familiar with energy level terms. I'll tell you from what I've read, high energy replayer. Definite. If this is an MLC, then that's what he's in. She says, my husband's mom died suddenly 6 weeks before our daughter was born. We married 2 years later. We moved from coastal Mexico to the United States 6 years ago. About 4 years ago, he felt like he was slowly wanting more of the single young life. In November of 2020, he had a health scare. He proceeded to be angry that he could not be free. After 1 year, March 2020 to 2021, I'd had it. Partying, neglect of family, and ever-incessant comments of, let me be free. I said that it's enough. In September 2022, which is now, we have had 1 solid month of beautiful courtship and beautiful friendship and courtship. This came after I used boundaries that you'd suggested. Good for you. His alienator is not a heterosexual and is not about an affair. He says he is and the affair is the partying and fun and free life. He says he is done, and I found 3 garbage bags of his clothes in my garage. He says he is sorting them out and washing them for when he moves in. So I think when he said he was done, she meant done with the partying, not done with the marriage. Sometimes we would confuse that. So I guess he's done being that bad guy type of the party boy. Sorting them and washing them for when he moves in. So maybe he had moved out. This was news to me. How do you know he's done with the alienator? What are the steps for reconciliation? You don't. You don't know until you have it through time. That he has been done for more than a day, then more than a week, and more than 2 weeks, then more than 6 months, then 2 years. You know through time. Just like that's how you build trust. Through time. You trust the most recent behavior is what you're going to have in the next day and the next day. And then when that behavior changes, well, what if he changes every day? There isn't something to trust. You trust through time. Consistent behavior through time. That's how you're going to know when he's really done. And is he? I am looking at, try and look at a bomb drop. I'm not looking at 4 years ago. 4 years ago, he felt like he was slowly wanting more of a single young life. But you don't reference a specific bomb drop communication of I want out of my marriage. In November 2020, he had a health scare. That may have been a trigger. Let's consider that that's a trigger. And then he was angry. He wanted to be free. And you'd had it in March of 2021. It sounds like you had it because there was a full year of partying. You had the talk with him, probably August, because you had about wanting that this wasn't, you have to let it go. And you don't want this, you're not accepting this. Because September, you'd had a solid month of beautiful friendship and courtship. So first thing, 1 month of you using boundaries isn't enough. He shouldn't just get to move in. What he's doing is he thinks he can get away with it right now. You need to maintain and hold those boundaries. And if he wants to move in with you, he needs to earn it. By showing you through consistent behaviors over a few months of time, that he is not doing those things. Then what are the two of you going to do to repair this? To acknowledge that something happened and to heal the damage that he caused. What is he willing to do? What does he even know that he did wrong? I haven't seen you describe him even recognizing that he has done damage and that there needs to be healing. He just thinks he can waltz back in and, well, she'll take me back because she's still there. She hasn't divorced me. She wants me back. And she has to. I'm the man. And so he's saying he's going to move in. It's not about what are the steps for reconciliation. Rather than you want it, it's not a step for reconciliation. It's readiness. What are the signs of readiness? Now, MLCers, if it's an MLC, still come home broken. Is he an MLCer or is he a party boy that just went out and partied for a while? I can't tell you. He has to show you consistent behavior that he is not partying. Now, what are there things where it's okay for him to go out like one night a week? I'm not saying you should do this. What I'm saying is, what if he did one night a week and that pulled him into doing more? It might be too much of a temptation. Or what if he could do one night or 1 month, whatever, and he was fine with it? If he's able to control that, if he's not able to control it, and if one night a week or one night a month even sucked him back into that lifestyle, there could be an addiction involved here, and you need to look into that. Right now, this isn't reconciliation. This is testing the waters to see if he's what you will allow. Because sure, he might want to reconcile, but he doesn't know what that takes. And you want to reconcile, but you don't know what that takes. It doesn't take you just opening the door and letting him in. It's not how it works. He needs to acknowledge that damage has been done and that I need to heal from the damage. I need to make repairs to the people that I damaged. Because I hurt the fence of my marriage. I need to build it back. Is he doing that? I haven't seen that he's doing that. I've seen that you've had a good month. Friendship and courtship. What else is there involved in life other than friendship and courtship? Where are responsibilities? So he needs to start taking responsibility for things. I don't feel that he's ready for that, or I haven't seen it yet in what you're describing. And it could be because you haven't brought it up. And this is a warning for you. When you do, or if you do that, expect resistance. Hey, we were doing fine. Why are you acting like this? You just want to control me. Whatever he doesn't like it. You will know with those, with that resistance, that he really isn't ready. You need to hold your ground with your boundaries. And you keep those boundaries up because he is going to test the boundaries. Right now, your boundaries are working in your favor and his favor. He got a friend. He got courtship. Wow. I can follow this rule. It's not too hard. And I can get myself moving back into the house. And then, it may be subconscious, maybe not. It's going to be harder to hold to some of those boundaries. Some don't work in the different situation. So I think there's a lot more work you have to do here. Okay? And it's hard work. But I want you to really figure out what needs to be done. Check out counseling. He might not be willing to go. That's another indicator. Go anyway. And I mean you go without him. You don't force it on him. Say, well, you know what? I think it'll help us. And I think it'll help me. And I'd like to get started. And you don't care about us because you won't go. No. You just let it. You know what? If you don't want to go, I'm not forcing you. But I'm also not saying you can move home. Those are some of the boundaries you need to set now. So you really tell him how much you want him home. I want you validated. I want you to be able to come home. I want us to succeed in our marriage. I want us to be a thriving, loving couple. And because I want that success, I want us to take these slower steps. So I want him to know that a lot of your motives for what you're doing that seem like obstacles to him are because you want the two of you to succeed together. He may not get it and he might fight against it anyways. You stay strong with those boundaries. Be consistent. Okay? Okay. I hope this was helpful, and I will see everybody in the next question.